We have set out a space safe enough for those with intersecting needs to seek help with us, because some of them are not just LGBT and living with HIV and using drugs. Some are also of minority ethnicities. I wake up very early because the whole world is very quiet. I can hear my breath. So I carry that peaceful, quiet mood into my day, and that helps me feel like I'm in control. For 20 years, I struggled with drug use to the point that I had to use every hour, not just every day, in order to function. I really wanted to stop, and I tried different things and nothing worked. So I was arrested in February 2016, and I spent 6 months in drug rehabilitation center. And that period of abstinence helped me realize that recovery is possible. So after release from DRC, I was 6 months, I was staying with my mother, and I didn't use any drugs. It was wonderful because I got to spend time with her and reconnect. I could share with her my hopes and dreams as somebody who wanted to help others like me.
Welcome to today's 12-step recovery meeting. My name is Adrian. I'll be your facilitator for today.
Hi, Adrian.
It is completely okay if you're not comfortable sharing your name. We begin every meeting with some readings. Can we get someone to help us read our opening statement?
The Greenhouse is a recovery center for marginalized and vulnerable communities. To all are welcome.
We have set out a space safe enough for those with intersecting needs to seek help with us, because some of them are not just LGBT and living with HIV and using drugs. Some are also of minority ethnicities. Some of them are also physically challenged.
For my family, say, hey,
Without recovery, without I think one of my characters.
Everything is anonymous and free of charge. We actually don't take down any identifying information. We assign you a case number.
Belonged, and I feel okay to share my thoughts.
So I grew up in a conservative family. I guess we were always quite close-knit until I shared my sexual orientation with them, and that's when things started to change. I came out to my family around 15 years of age, and they sent me to have my sexual orientation changed because this is not the kind of son that they wanted for themselves. I used drugs because they helped me to overcome all these negative feelings, all these stresses.
We hope you hear something today that helps you feel less alone and more at home. May I invite someone in the room to help us read the meeting preamble?
12-Step Recovery is a greenhouse program adapted from other 12-step programs such as Narcotic Anonymous, but open to greenhouse clients only and unaffiliated to these programs. Meetings are a safe way to meet others like us who wish to abstain
I
from
was actually struggling a little bit, but I think
work is done with a sponsor who is a mentor through the steps. And number 3, our program uses step work to help.
please raise your hand to let us know how long you have been abstinent so we can celebrate your milestone with you. Are there any members celebrating 30 days? If not, 60 days. If not, 60 days. If not,
Keep coming back.
A lapse is a chance to relook at our care plan, to figure out what's working and what's not so that we can change and try again. During our research studies, we have measured that actually we have up to a 80% success rate for drug use, recovery, abstinence.
After going through a good round of counseling with the greenhouse, accepting my identity, getting rid of my internal homophobia, I've managed to accept myself and I have started loving myself.
last week I went to my my sister-in-law's birthday party, and she wanted to introduce me to the children who came to open the condo door for me. And then they were like, "Oh, this is Uncle Ben's." Then she looked at me, and immediately I was placed in the situation to answer, and I just said, "Say brother lah, say brother," because I didn't want to get into it. And immediately I felt like, oh, it was a missed opportunity to just be me. But
A lot of our clients have actually gone through terrible things. They have been rejected by the family, bullied in school. Many of them have been physically or verbally abused or even assaulted. When they have faced enough rejection, they start to reject themselves, and that's why they are living in constant pain and shame and guilt. And these are the reasons why they use drugs or alcohol as a maladaptive coping mechanism for this kind of experiences. So when we provide care to them, we do a brief trauma history to figure out what are some of these things that happen.
My addiction has actually caused me to lose everything in my life. My parents are no longer around. In 2018, I had the biggest relapse of my life using drugs, and it was bad, I having psychosis, hiding under the bed, listening to voices all over the room, and I have no one to talk to about my struggles. When I start coming to the greenhouse, that is where I start to learn again to become a human. It really takes a lot of one day at a time to start building a relationship with people.
I tried so many support groups in my life, and everywhere I go, I feel that the space wasn't safe enough because I always feel judged. But coming to Greenhouse, that feeling is non-existent. I feel safe, I feel belonged, and I feel okay to share my thoughts, my feelings with everyone. I can relate to so many of your stories. That's what makes me love coming to Greenhouse so much more. And for that, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
It's very large.
We have seen many new friends. So a balance with new faces.
And they are also struggling with addiction. So I want to help us understand, what is unique about the care that the greenhouse actually provide to your clients.
The greenhouse is an early adopter of trauma-informed care, but trauma-informed care does not belong to the greenhouse. And I always say that at every workshop because I really want to encourage people to be curious about it.
Trauma-informed care asks the question, what happened to you rather than what is wrong with you. So when we help the clients, give them this framework of psychoeducation to help them see that these are the ways your body, your nervous system helped you to cope and survive. That then eliminates a lot of the shame that they feel, because then they know that I didn't actively choose to do this harm to myself. And now with that knowledge, with new coping tools introduced, with a loving community around them, they can then make better decisions for their future.
Okay, go and find him. I want to...
Okay, careful your hand. So with the knife, we just need to cut it off.
So my role in Greenhouse is to facilitate program, and then to make sure the center run well, and then also to make sure everybody in the center is following the center ground rules.
I've never eaten the fresh ones actually.
Yeah, I eat mushroom.
Not every mushrooms, yes. So the way they reproduce is different.
So yeah. Thank you.
I like that a lot because
I've met Alaric probably in 2019 in another recovery meeting. And when I met him, I just don't know why I had this special connection with him. And from there, I asked him to become my sponsor to work the 12 steps. And that's where I get to know about the greenhouse. So thanks for helping me out today, because I really have a lot of things to do.
Help you.
Yes, thank you.
So the sponsor is a mentor through the 12 steps of recovery. And the sponsor actually walks them through the various stages of their lives to look at what happened and take responsibility for some of the actions so that they can stop using drugs and help others do the same.
So with the help of people, in the greenhouse, my recovery families, I start to have more connections to people who are safe to be with. I will share a lot of things that I don't normally share with people. From there, the step work has really made me feel comfortable about myself, especially when I'm able to forgive myself and practice that self-love and not blaming myself of what has happened. And Alaric has always been there along the way, even until now.
They actually grow extremely fast. It's like an explosion.
So the turning point in my life was actually when I was hosting a recovery meeting. I had a relapse. I started using drugs again. I was paranoid, I was sweating, I was feeling very ashamed of myself. And at the end of meeting, because it's tradition, everyone took turns hugging each other. They told me that, Rick, I believe you. I believe that you want to stop using drugs. I think that you're a good person and that you can do this. Yeah. I felt so safe and happy for the first time in my life that I just never had the craving to use drugs again. I still remember the day I had this life-changing experience. It's the 7th of July 2017, which is also the official opening date of the greenhouse. So the greenhouse shares my anniversary, the day that I stopped using.
No, the other one.
Thanks everyone for coming down today to a certain workshop which we like a lot called Harmony Terrarium. Yeah, so with me today are Joyce, Sheila and Brenda, who is really obsessed and like the message of this. I was actually surprised that they seem to enjoy the terrarium making session. When I set up the greenhouse, I realized that therapeutic horticulture using plant-based activities can help people to have a better mental health, like heal from trauma, alcohol addiction. And what clients seem to enjoy the terrarium making session the most. And some of them said that, oh, I feel like I have a sense of control in my life for once. I feel like I'm co-creating a new life for myself, or that I'm recreating who I am. Yeah. So I hope you all enjoy.
Fundraising remains the greatest challenge for us as an organization because we are struggling with so many sensitive issues which most people don't want to talk about. Fortunately, we were visited by a government ministry who wanted to understand better the kind of work that we do. We began to receive some funding enough for us to formalize our operations. That's when we receive our charity status, membership in the National Council of Social Service, and also Institution of Public Character status.
So today, assisting me will be Joy.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy.
I am currently doing my master's in counseling. I heard about the greenhouse and I was really intrigued by their service and the communities that are served.
You can decide how much you want to put. Sometimes less is more. People want to have like preference.
As you guys are watering your terrarium, reflect on the process and the journey you took to create this, and then we can all share how you're feeling when you're ready. Growing up, I had a lot of ideas and misconceptions of communities not the same as me. And these could be people who are, LGBTQ+, people who have been incarcerated, even people who have HIV, for example. I didn't realize how hurtful and how rejecting it was to be thought of that way. Nobody tells you that in school. In fact, everybody is doing that. And it's only after I grew up, I became older, and then embarking on the Masters in Counseling course that I'm taking, I became more aware of all these biases and seeing how rejected and pushed to the margins these people are, which is why I decided to be part of the mission of the greenhouse.
Together, I thought that was a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's great that we get to catch up because, by being on the board of directors.
My sponsor through the 12 Steps of Recovery was Raina.
So I went to a rehab in Chiang Mai back in 2013. And that was when I got like my more intensive treatment for addiction and substance dependence. And when I came out and got back to Singapore, my counselor told me that I really needed to be plugged into a support system. But in Singapore at the time, I felt like I couldn't really find people like me. That's when a few people came together to start this group called Lifeline, and Alaric was a part of that group. We started to have 100 people engaged in this whole program. That really showed there was a need in this community. Alaric was also thinking, why not we actually start doing something for people beyond just this support group? Why not we actually start those services here? And that was what the greenhouse started out as being, and it truly is now, right? There are services here, there's a peer support program here, and so on.
I remember you telling me that client load has been increasing.
There is definitely an increase in the number of people seeking help at our center.
This minority stress doesn't have to just take place in the context of sexual minorities. It can be any kind of minority identity. Minority stress theory is this idea that because of minority identity, you face additional stressors in your life. Kind of in this state of constant vigilance, right? Because some people might stigmatize or discriminate against you based on a particular minority identity. That stress can actually lead to compensation in terms of, let's say, mental health, in terms of substance use.
The clients are given permission to share about what happened to them as long as there's no identifier. Traditionally, our peer support program, our counseling program, and our family support program have run in silos for safety reasons.
So how can we complement each other's work together? And we're going to use this case study to really be thinking about how peer supporters and counselors can work together. If you take a look at the screen, Ahwan is a 30-year-old man living with HIV. His family has thrown him out of their home for being gay. He looks high, so Ahwan is keen to change his sexual orientation so he can move back in with his family. So how would you approach care for him?
So I'm a mother of two myself. And when I read that Ahwad's father pushed him down the stairs when he was 15, I will also have to be aware that as much as I love my children, Ahwad might never have had a parent that loved him.
For me, I'm curious about his HIV status. Has he disclosed his status to his family yet? And is he open about it? Because they're living with HIV, there's still a current stigma attached to this, And then plus you're gay, undergoing substance abuse addiction. All this further adds up to feeling isolated, ostracized.
I've been a client with the Greenhouse since 2020. When you join a support group, especially like Greenhouse, what it offers is, besides support, is relatability. I'm blessed to have full support of my family, but they don't have the same lived experience. They are not able to relate as much. So when it comes to Greenhouse, we have tons of peer supporters around, tons of mentors. It's easier to make connections. They are able to share care and support with empathy.
For a peer support program that leverages your own lived experiences as the key thing to help heal other people, to help other people show other people that it's okay to be who you are, and that my own experiences in recovery can help you, I think it's a really beautiful experience. We call the volunteers there are wounded healers, right?
So what happens is that
Something that I found useful, like from a counselor perspective, if I feel like something should be shared with the peer supporter, I will ask the client explicitly in that session and just clarify point by point and be like, I need to talk to your peer supporter about this issue. What can I say? What can I not say? Then we have a almost like a contract between the both of us that this is what I'll share and nothing else. Like which gives them a lot of safety and trust in our system.
Recently, I took on a peer support. Then you guys gave me a certain guidelines, that this person, he's a bit cautious. He has trust issues. So I think that's very, very helpful for me because had I not come in with the right mental space to tackle the issue, we would have started our peer support journey on the wrong note. Yeah.
Being a peer supporter helps my own personal recovery journey. Recovery is a daily process.
Congratulations. Yeah, so we have to smile. So no matter how big we grow, no matter what happens, we must always remember that we are here because we are a chosen family. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate how large our family has grown.
Alaric setting up the Substance Use Recovery Center for vulnerable and marginalized communities. That's I feel it's a really brave thing for Alaric to do also because, starting something new, especially unprecedented in Singapore.
with the greenhouse, there is hope for everyone, regardless of how many times they fall. I believe you keep trying, one day you will be out of addiction.
Every person can heal. We're not here to fix something that isn't broken. When you have been treated so badly, you think that the world is a bad place and that people are dangerous, to come to our center and receive care for free from strangers shows you that the world is not what you think it is. There can be kindness, there can be love. Anybody who wants to heal from trauma and outgrow addiction is very welcome at the greenhouse.
Just when I was wondering who would turn the gray sky